Good morning, good day to everybody in the crafting world. Oh my. It's just a good day to be up and be blessed that God gave us another day. Well, I'm here once again to do a little bit of junk journaling with my favorite people out there. And why is this so far away? This looks so far. Yeah, okay. Much better. Um, well, I got my project laid down in front of me. My blue queen people on rice paper. Double pockets in the back. This is a regular printing paper, copy paper, size. One size 17 long, 11, 17 vertical. Horizontal. 17 horizontal and 11 horizontal vertical. Okay. Then I got my punches here. This is a plain white paper that I folded in half. This also was the same, but this was rice. This was regular printing paper. As you see what I done on top, I lined these with washi tapes on both sides because I wanted to do a design. I wanted to do a design on the edges like this, but this is kind of more durable because it's with the clear painting and water. This one is a little more flimsy, so I wanted it a little more harder paper. Okay, we go here. This, as you know, I did it with the washi. Make the pocket. This I'm gonna use as a belly band. This is also rice pocket, clear, paint and water on rice paper, and got the crunchiness. I made 2 pockets. I did the ruffle ribbons here at the bottom. This is 1 crochet that I cut in half. And this is the Egyptian leaf uh, cards that I got. This is a ribbon. this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but this page is going in. And then this one again is the second page. I'm going to make a belly band. The first one will be going horizontal. Horizontal. And this one's going to go vertical. So, I would say we are ready to go. And I brought me a little extra coffee. Okay, this one's done. We're not gonna decorate this. This one we're gonna start with. Let me put these to the side. Okay, these I'm gonna start with. The only thing is they are two. I did this one already, so I'm going to do this. And what I'm hoping for is that I could get this with a clear cut. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I need I gotta do this. This side. Okay. All right. Got it in the middle. Okay. Once again, welcome to my channel. Come journey with me. Violeta Solis Blonde at your service. What's this? Yeah. Okay. Every time I move, it moves with me. And we are not doing that. Okay, let's move this too. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. We're gonna do this all the way around. I'm not sure this is okay. Yeah. I wanna make sure that beautiful, beautiful. Yes, it's coming through on both sides. Yes. Thank you, Lord. A little more calm. I got a little problem here. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh yes, yes. My Lord is good. You know, started. I started to say something the other day. Oh my God, here I am talking low. Why am I talking so low? And I started to reminisce about when my father migrated to the United States. How we traveled here on a 8 engine. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to stand up for this because it looks like I function better if I stand up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Got a better position at this angle. And how we traveled to the United States, los Estados Unidos, on a 8 engine plane, and we landed, and we took the then famous uh, yellow cabs. And we took it to the county of, well, in New York we call them boroughs. In the South we call them, okay, that one there was a mistake. Okay, it's gonna stay like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how those cabs had little footstool, And I remember my daddy flipped it up. They would pop out from the floor. My father would flip it up from the floor. And we would sit on it. The younger ones would sit down. We would sit down on it. And I was too little to look out the window as the cab drove. As the cab drove, so I missed. We got in like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and all the high rises were lit up, but I was too short, and therefore I missed the city lights, and I didn't get to see the uh, skyscrapers and the city lights. And we finally got back to the apartment. My daddy woke me up. I take it I fell asleep. I take it I fell asleep, and he had me on his lap when I woke up. Now, so far, let me show you on this side how it looks. Mm-hmm. See the design? Okay. Let me continue. Oh, I only got one side more to go. Okay. So, but what I wanted to bring you guys to mind was my family background. My father my father's father was African, from the Yoruba African tribe, and he was a priest. He was the village medicine man. And uh, being a medicine man, you dealt with spiritual world. You dealt with, in the Western world, it's called miracles. In Africa, he was known to be a voodoo man. So my family has spiritual gifts, but we as children were not exposed to these beliefs. We weren't told about these beliefs. We weren't told about the spiritual gifts we possess as Aruba people. Okay, we got this going. I like this. I'm glad that. Oh yes, oh yes. Let me clean this up. Let me put this out the way. Yeah, because if I leave it laying around, it's gonna get stuck to my paper. I like the way it looks. Okay. It goes this way. Let me put it right here. That's the way it goes. And I want you to see the design that I just punched out. Yeah. But I like this side because it shows off more. And this is why I put the washi paper on the edges. Now, we have these two done, right? We got these two done. Now we move to this, which I got this done. This is with the design. This is with the design down here. And the washies. Okay? Now we're going to deal with this here. Okay. Well, as years roll by and we become Christians, Christians like converted Christians like Pentecost Christians, we learn about the Holy Ghost and prayers and because of our backgrounds that the church didn't know really. All they knew was we from the island and we're praying people and we're healing people. They didn't understand because I could say me as a child, I didn't understand it. I didn't know nothing about that. All I know was that my grandfather was African. Everybody else was Tiano Indian from the island of Puerto Rico, which it is actually named Borinquen. And let me tell you a little bit about. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, we're gonna go with this size here, right? I'm sorry for cutting on and off my story here. So we're going to cut here, right? We are going to use the ruler. We're using the ruler to cut along here. All right. Yeah, we're gonna cut right along here. Because we cut into the size of the paper. Oh boy. I'm cutting on. And I can't be standing because I've been moving the camera. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. This will work. But guess what? Oh, okay. This will work. So this side be thicker when I cut. So um we learned we were Yoruba people later. At that time, at this time, I didn't know nothing about being Yoruba. I knew nothing about it. Okay. So we are going to go with an eighth. Okay. We're going an eighth here. That was the 14. The 14. Mm-hmm. The 14. The 14. Okay. That's it. The 14. The 14. That's where we're going to cut. So what's the amazing thing is, as I got older, and understood what a mess my daddy got us into when we understood it was later on in life. But where I want to start off is at the point that we didn't know about all this African stuff, and we didn't know about this this African stuff, and my grandpapa being African and Yoruba and being the medicine man. We didn't know all that. But I want to bring something to mind about the spiritual world because we're going to get into a very deep discussion on the spiritual world. When you're born with a gift, you are born with a gift. When God calls you with that gift, you are called with that gift. hmm Okay. So, all that I was hearing was this. I have to be cut off. Okay. Now this goes here. This is the page. It's here. Look, it's matching up. And we're going to glue this as I continue my story. Well, there was an injustice done to us because when my ancestors were brought over, they were brought over mainly by the Catholics from Spain. The Americans weren't involved at the time. We're talking about the 1800s. Uh, the Americans still didn't have the Spanish-American War. hmm They didn't have the Spanish-American War. They had the Spanish-American War back in the 1890s, I think it was. Or I know that it was going on when my daddy was born. I think it was in 1887. And what I'm doing here is I'm joining these two pages together. hmm And So when my ancestors were brought to the island of Borinquen, Puerto Rico, which means rich port, Borinquen was first known, not Puerto Rico, but Borinquen, because Borinquen describes a beautiful island. Puerto Rico, which was called by the new settler, the new settlers, the new government that settled, was then named the island Puerto Rico, which meant rich port. So there's two things about the island. It was a rich port, and it was also called the eye of the world, because no matter what location you stood on the island, you was able to see all the points, the north, the south, the east, and west of the ocean, both oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific. And back then, there was a loud trades going on, and you had the pirates hijacking boats, and you was able to see all that going on from the Mohro, which is the fort, that little thing that stands out on the fort over the ocean. Uh, you could see everything. Now that I got that on, I'm going to put the ribbon like this. I'm going to put the ribbon like this instead of the washi tape. Oh no, I have a lot of washi tape, and I have a lot of ribbons because of all my projects that I previously made. I used to go crazy buying things, and I'm glad I did. hmm So anyway, but before I go on into that, I have to mention a game that us children used to play. Now, keep in mind, we didn't know nothing about spiritual warfares and voodoo and miracles, and naturally, the Spaniards, they were Catholics. So our true identity, as far as our religion, we were stripped from it and introduced to the Catholic religion. And what I have to say about that is, when God has a calling for you, He has a calling for you. And I say that because as a child, when we did land it in Las Americas, and we were supposedly to pick up on the Catholic religion. I was one, and mind you, I was about 2.5 years of age. I was one that I didn't want to have anything to do with the Catholic religion. They used to take me to church on Sundays, kicking and screaming and acting up and making noise and acting a fool at the age 2.5 because something in me just wasn't having it. That's the one thing about it. The other thing, back home at the age of 2, we used to play a game. Me, my baby sister, and my baby brother. We used to play this game. And this game was you stand at the edge of it was a cot, not a bed, a rolling cot that you roll around and you fold and open. You fold in the morning and you open at night, because there were many of us. And we used to play, but I was the only one that was allowed to do the pushing. I couldn't. Okay. I'm looking for my glue rag. Okay, I found it. I used to not be allowed to stand on the bed because we would have to put like our hands on the wall and our little feet at the edge of that cot. And then I was the one that would be pushing the cot away from the wall, and they will help me push with as they pushed against the wall, I would push out. And it became a game. But what happened one time? What happened one time was that the room went black. I mean, completely black. And I started to cry. And I started saying, no, no, no. Because in the midst of that darkness, I saw a shadow man. It was just as black as the darkness. Make sure that's right. Oh, walla walla. So what we're going to take here, we're going to take this here. This is cardstock, a very light cardstock. It's a package I got from Amazon. And it's so funny because, okay, I could bend it over. And it's so funny because when I first got it, I saw all these big papers and I was like, what am I going to do with these papers? I mean, I have to waste it and cut it up to fit the books in. I learned to sit and wait on them. And look, I'm using it. for my pink, my blue princess here. And this, you see this? I got, I gotta cut that because it's overlapping. So let me get my ruler here and cut that overlapping. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, Lord. Uh-huh. No cutting. Beautiful. Okay. Now with this, I'm going to make my belly band on both sides. What it is, I'm going to use this side to do it on this side and to do it on this side. Let me put this to the side. So, I saw this black shadow. It was a person, it was a man. It definitely was a man. And when I saw the man in the darkness, I shouted to my sister and my brother, no, no, no. And the shadow looked at me and they pushed. All I know was they found me unconscious. They found me unconscious. I woke up. My brother and sister were on their way from the hospital. And when I looked, when they came home, they already had gotten treated for broken bones. Both of them have broken arms. Both of them have broken arms. Now I'll turn this way, and I'll do it this way. And I remember they questioned me, and I was telling them, because now the other two were in trouble, broken arm and all. They were in trouble for letting me push them like that. And I was in trouble for pushing them like that. So we were all in trouble. But I was hysterical because I was like, but the man, I was telling them, I didn't push them. The man pushed them. The man, the shadow pushed them. And they couldn't believe me because I was only barely 2 years old. Yeah. Barely 2 years old. And now, you see this like this? Now, this goes like this. I want the lighter side on the top and the darker side. So what we're going to do is, let me see where I put, okay. I'm going to keep this because, let's say, I don't want, when I do this, I don't want this falling out. So I'm going to keep this as a safeguard. So when I put this in, let me get a paper. Okay, here we go. When I put this in here, it'll slip, and this will be the safety guard to keep it in place. 'Cause I don't want this moving. And I've had that problem with my other books, and I figured it out that I'm going to have to do that. So finally, I don't know what happened. I cannot say what happened. I know that it was done. It was a done deal. Okay. I have to put that there. I still have a cold and a touch of asthma. So when I get asthma, when I get a cold, it's a bronchial cold that sets off my asthma. And that's exactly what I wanted. So, anyway, nobody ever got over that. Yes, it was dismissed. It was, it was, it was dismissed. Doesn't mean they got over it, because I shouldn't get over it, because I know what I saw. And that's how my spiritual, that's how I evolved into spirituality, into the spiritual world. Not knowing, but yes, my father knew. But it was never discussed. It was never an open subject. And it was an open subject only to the adults in hiding. And I want it like this, so it could show different. So that happened in Puerto Rico. Then there was the second occasion that my oldest brother had gone off to the Korean War. And when he come home on furlough, me and my baby brother used to enjoy him so much. I was the baby. He was the oldest. it was a thing where I gotta cut off this little tips here. Ah, he was the oldest. So one day he decided to play a ghost game. And we were grown already. We were married. My parents already had relocated back to the island. But we used to meet up in the family's house on weekends and at every occasion, like Thanksgiving and uh, Thanksgiving and Valentine, Mother's Day, Father's Day. We all used to go to the family house. My sister would cook up a storm. She was the chef, and she would cook for us on those occasions. Children and the grandchildren would get together, and we'll call our parents and we'll talk to them by phone. I still remember that we had that same phone for over 50 years. I remember the number TY3917. I remember that my parents burned it into our little minds. This here, I'm not going to put the design. See the design on that? I'm not going to put the design on it. Hmm. See that? I'm not going to put the design on this. I got to cough up. I have to cough up that mucus I have lain in my chest. And so, let me close this. Oh, going on an hour already. And this goes here. How should I put it? Like this. But where's the other one? The thicker one. So, okay. I worked on 2 pages today. And anyway, my brother used to have this game. It was a ghost game. And I was little. And me and my baby brother would run into one of the bedrooms and the lights would go off, and then he would turn the lights on and you see this ghost. It was this ghost. It was nothing but him in a white sheet. But in my little 2-year-old eyes, all I could see was this ghost. and I'd be petrified. And I would scream and holler, and he would just grab me, try to grab my legs from underneath the bed and pulling out, kicking. Finally, somebody, one of the older kids, hearing my screams of fear, I'm gonna put this on this side. I like this. Came in. Oh, okay. I could do this here. Yeah. While I'm talking, and I finished doing 2 pages. And okay, we got a problem, Houston. I'm gonna have to do it this way because this has more blue. Okay. Where's my sticky? Where's my two-sided tape here? Oh, and finally somebody came. One of the older children came, turned on the light, pulled the blanket, the white bed sheet off my brother, and they tried to calm me down, which they did. I was still petrified. I was still petrified. But there's a point for me to tell you this story. Because later on, all this was playing a spiritual momentum in my life. Yeah. Oh, from from my grandfather being a Yoruba priest to the islands, which Puerto Rico's a beautiful island, gorgeous island. I wish my father never, yeah, I wish my father had never migrated and had left us living there forever. But my father was a worldly man. And if he didn't understand anything, there's one thing he understood. America is the place you come for your children to get a better education. And he was correct. He was 100% correct. Yes, he was. So that was his reasons to come into los Estados Unidos. Just like all the other immigrants learning of the great opportunities you will get in the United States of America. Then it went from Los Estados Unidos to from Los Estados Unidos to the United States de las Américas. hmm So, but keep in mind the ghost stories and the shadow man, because that's how we evolved as prayer warriors. So I'm mainly telling you about my childhood because later on when I understood and learned about the spiritual world, I learned about portals, the doorways, and see, those are the doorways that you open. hmm Those are the doorways that are open. It begins in an innocent play, but there's nothing innocent about the demonic world. When Adam and Eve was introduced to the forbidden fruit, there was no game there. There was no game there. That was for real. So in that little room in the island, I didn't know about it, and my sisters and brother didn't know about it. But we were soon to learn. hmm We were soon to learn. Okay, and here we are. This here, you see that? I see that as I'm going to leave it because it's lined. Yeah, it's lined. So, okay, I got one. Okay, this I have to. Okay, no, this is going like this, but it's gonna be a bigger one. Mm-hmm. Right. This is like this. Then this one going like this. Yes, yes, yes. Right there. And this chapter will soon be made. Okay. Until tomorrow. Hasta mañana. Another day, another time. And my testimony shall continue. Go here. Now I need a page for here. I forgot. Okay. That. Okay. This. Got here. This. Right. I need one for here. See, because when all this gets black on the vice grip, that space has to be left. Yeah. That space has to be left. This one and this one and this one. And another one. Yep. And we are building up my precious Egyptian queens. Thank you so much once again for sitting with me as I tell a story and create a junk journal. God bless you and enjoy your weekend.